These are meat leaves. They started as a collection of normal produce from the grocery store, but through a special process called decellularization, all the plant cells are removed only to be replaced with living meat cells. To make a meat leaf, the first step is to, of course, pick some leaves. Then the leaves are put through a series of different baths to slowly remove everything other than the cellulose and lignin that makes up the structure of the leaf. As the chemicals do their work, the leaves first go translucent, and then eventually so clear that they're nearly invisible and look like glass. Finally, the leaves are sterilized in alcohol before being transferred to culture media. Cells seem to naturally like to stick to leaves, so a squirt of cell suspension of meat cells and a few days to grow in our meat incubator was all that was needed to complete the transformation into meat leaves. Now all we need to do is grow some more to finish our meat robot, but if you want to see the whole process, check out the full video on our channel.
Good vibes all the way, man.
This is energy too. If you get on the frequency this is on, you can't stop it coming. What did he say in here? He said when the money starts coming, it'll come so fast and furious, you're going to wonder where it was hiding through all the lean years. And he's right. Most people don't understand that. They do not understand. They think you've got to go to work. You just got to work a little harder. Get out there, put in more hours. Wrong track. Now look it. Einstein gave us some wonderful information. He said the intuitive mind, that's the higher faculties, is a sacred gift. The rational mind's a faithful servant. That's our senses. Okay? We've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Well, we want to start using these higher faculties. That's how you're going to create the wealth. I showed you this yesterday, and I'm going to touch on it once today, but I want you to get this. I want you to copy this down, and I want you to pay attention to it. And you just repeat this over and over and over again. Genevieve B. Rand was a student of Thomas Troward. Thomas Troward, I believe, is one of the greatest authors of the last 500 years. This is one of his books that I have in a book stand here in front of my desk. I read those 2 pages every day, have for quite a while. It's Thomas Troward's work. Well, Genevieve B. Rand was his only student. She had to attract $20,000 in 1912 to go and work with him. And it's through studying what I'm putting on the screen here that enabled her to do it. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to grasp this overnight. You got to keep reading it over and over and over. My mind is a center of divine operation. What do you mean my mind's a center of divine operation? Now, think about this for a moment. Everything has a center. If I have a basketball, there's a point in that ball that's center, and that's determined by the outer side of the ball. There's a point in this room that's center, and that's determined by the outer measurements of the room. But when you get to the divine, when you get to God, to spirit, there is no outer measurements. You're talking about infinite. When you're talking about infinite, any point is center. My mind is the center of divine operations. So is yours. So is your next door neighbor's. My mind's the center of divine operation. Now, the divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. The divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. And this means the production of something beyond what has gone before. This is not a repeat performance for you. We're going somewhere where you've never been. Remember when we told you that X out there? Well, the X out there is a place. If your imagination takes you there, you went somewhere. That is a place. And you can grow into that. You can. This means the production of something that's gone on before, beyond and has gone on before. Something entirely new. This is true creativity. Something entirely new, not included in your past experience. However, though it's proceeding out of your past experience by an orderly sequence of growth. Now listen to me for a minute. Do you know that everything that's happened in your past has been necessary for you to get where you are? You know, all the good times and all the bad times, they're all necessary. Every one of them. Everything that's happened has contributed to the conscious awareness that you have. So, This is going to be something new that you're bringing about. It's something that's not included in your past experience, though it is proceeding out of your past experience by an orderly sequence of growth. You see, it's what you've done to this point that enables you to see how to go further. This is such a phenomenal piece of literature. Therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, see, the laws of the universe were not man-made, so they can't be changed by man. Winter always follows winter. Always. The night always follows the day. Think of this. Since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, now pay attention, it must operate in the same manner in me. Consequently, in my special world, of which I am center, it's going to move me forward to produce new conditions, always in advance of any that has gone before. If and when I get in harmony with this power, that's what's going to happen. I would recommend you write this down. It may be out of the park to you right now. It's going to be closer than your breath if you keep studying it. This I know to be true. I've worked with it for many, many years. Okay? Now, one of the laws is the law of compensation. Your income is governed by law. Yet it's a law that you're never going to change. The law of compensation is very clear. This law clearly states that the amount of money you earn is always going to be in an exact ratio to three things. Number one, the need for what you do. Number two, your ability to do it. And number three, the difficulty there will be in replacing you.
That sounds quite interesting, man. You should always try to be the best of yourself, you see? My friends, do you see any curve there at the horizon? Look closely, good people of us. Now this is crazy, my friends. Hey. Look at this. Looks like things are a little bit flat. But you be the judge. Please look at this footage. Tell me now, after watching this, my good friend, what do you think is the shape of the world? You see, some people here, others in the comment section even told us it is rhombus. Others said it is hexagonal. I don't even know how a hexagonal shape looks like. How the hexagonal? Maybe it has many edges, like 8 or something like that. But now, good people of us, when you look at this and now you see at the horizon there everything we are seeing, what do you think the shape of the earth really is? You see? Please leave your comments and also hit the like button there. Oh. This one is crazy stuff. You see, if people are honest with one another since from the past, yeah? This debate could not have existed. Because people in most cases disagree because of lack of honesty. You see? Because if one person is saying this, the other is saying this, and they are both talking about the same thing, you see, we really have to be honest to understand now the whole thing as one, you see, and agree on it. And this is fascinating. Hey, I can't even explain this myself. I don't know what shape the earth is, but at least I know that all earthlings, no matter where you go, I take as random earthling there, I will find that they have the same shape of the heart like mine. Yeah, you see, or like yours. Or do you think our hearts there are different and there is someone with a triangular heart? Well, our hearts look the same. Maybe a slight different from, a slight difference here and there, but all our hearts look the same. And you know what that teaches us, wonderful souls? That we are not different. We might look like we are not same from the outside, but in the inside, beyond this skin color, we are all same. You see, we are humans from different places. Just that. And all these boundaries and stuff like those are just to separate us. You see. And now, if you believe it is able to unite Earthlings from wherever they are watching from, you see, hit the like button, hit the notification button, so that you can always be notified. You see, when a good vibes video is uploaded, and you'll be the first to help us in spreading love. You see, much love to yourself, man.
Careful of the dreaded Fay Trap.
Money!
If you're a superstitious person or believe in mystical creatures, then apparently this is something that you should not be touching at all costs. This video that I was tagged in shows this person who's discovered a very strange flower right here. Specifically, this flower's petals are spinning around consistently, kind of like a propeller. Now, rationally, if you were to ask me to guess what's going on here, I would say that the flower petals are partially detached and there's a small breeze down here blowing them around, but a lot of people are apparently calling this something known as a Fay Trap. According to those that believe in these Fay traps, there's a bunch of different variations for this, including mushrooms in a circle, or just weird portals. And essentially what this is something that's planted by Fae, which are very similar to fairies, and they're not necessarily good or bad, but it's meant to take travelers in and bring them into this mystical world where they can play jokes on you and potentially hurt you. While I have to agree this is a very interesting theory, this is probably not what's going on here. But again, if you're a superstitious person and you see something strange like this in nature, you might want to stay away.
What do you believe those are, my friends? Or just nature?
Demonic and dark entities masquerading as light beings, and how to tell. This question has been asked so many times over the past few days, and I said I would do a video on it because it's very easy to spot dark entities when they're in their true form around us, causing chaos, destruction, negativity, but it is not so easy to spot them when they're being manipulative and deceptive and masquerading as light beings. And they do this to garner trust so that we allow them to come in, and this does happen frequently. That's how you see so many psychics, they end up completely turning away from spirituality and going over towards religion because they realise that they're communicating with some dark entities, they freak out, they get scared, and they condemn all. So I don't condemn all of anything. I just walk my own path in this life, and I encourage everyone to think for themselves. So I am basing these signs off of both personal experience. I'm very open that I've been tricked in the past, and it led me down a path towards helping others. And now I help others who are dealing with demonic and dark entity interference in their lives. And I have a big client base worldwide of people. So this is a wide range of people that I am coming up with these signs for. But as always, if it doesn't resonate, just leave it. So the first sign is these demonic and dark beings, when they're posing as light beings, will try to inflate your ego, okay? And they do this because they want an imbalance of the ego. The ego's a great thing. The ego keeps us grounded in reality, but when it's imbalanced, it can cause problems. That's why you see so many of these spiritual gurus having their downfalls, because the ego gets too big. So when the ego gets inflated, that is an opening for attachments. It can be an opening for attachments to come through. So they want to inflate your ego, and they can do this in ways such as telling you you are an important figure that's reincarnated, that you're here to single-handedly change the world. You know, you have a lot of people saying they're Jesus reincarnated, that your mission is very special, that you're special in any way, things like that, because we're all special, you know, we're all unique. No soul is better than any other soul. And no soul is superior to any other soul either. So if they are trying to feed you this information that, you know, you are special and you are here in this important mission and all these things, these are red flags to look out for. Genuine light beings want to encourage unity, they want to encourage everyone being equal, so they definitely don't want an imbalanced ego. Yes, they'll tell you, you know, you're beautiful and things like that, but when it goes so far as anything that's really going to inflate your ego, that's a red flag. Second sign is convince you that you are healed and you don't need to do any more inner work in certain areas, because they don't want you to be doing shadow work. They don't want you to be bringing up the darkness within and transmuting it to light. They want you to stay where you are, because the more that you do the inner work, the more that you are transmuting your darkness to light, embracing the darkness, transmuting it to light, the more you are ascending, and then essentially they're feeding off of that dark energy, so they want you to stay where you are. And the third one, I'm probably going to get all the twin flame people coming at me in the comments for this one, but the twin flame ideology, yes, this one led me down a complete dark path, and it has for many others as well. It's very toxic ideology that's out there, and what it does actually is it deters people from being with their soulmates. They don't want soulmates to be together, so they encourage people to stay in these narcissistic relationships. Relationships are meant to be harmonious, and all the twin flame stuff with the runner, the chaser, no, I'm sorry, it's just not meant to be like that. I'm not saying that twin flames don't exist, but what I am saying through my work is it's extremely rare to have a twin flame, and the ideology that's out there is so messed up and it's causing so many problems. They do not want soulmates to be together, because when soulmates come together, it's very harmonious. It creates this powerful kind of energetic force between the two, so they want to split soulmates up. So the twin flame ideology does that. It's also kind of energy harvesting too. So when demonic or dark entities are masquerading as light beings, they can try and convince you that you have this twin flame, and you begin to obsess over that, and you put so much energy into that, and these beings can then in turn feed from that energy. It's, yeah, not pretty. So yeah. And the last one for today, they do not want you grounded, okay? So what they will do is they will encourage you to do so much work in the spiritual realms. They'll encourage you to be up there doing the work all the time and really not grounded into reality at all. And you see that with so many people. That happened to me in the past as well, when you're just constantly connecting all the time, to where you're just not grounded into this reality anymore, or you don't want to be in this reality anymore. You want to be up in the spirit world all the time, because we have work to do down here. Like, spirit world, they don't need our help, you know. Yeah, there will be people that are called to go and do some work in these spiritual realms, you know, at some point, but when it's a lot and excessive, it's keeping you from your work down here. It's a distraction. Because at the end of the day, we are having a human experience. We agreed, you know, to have this human experience, and it's the human experience that is where the help is needed at the moment. They've got it sorted up there. So there are some red flags that I would be looking out for when you're connecting. Obviously, if this doesn't resonate, just leave it. But what I will say is, if you're triggered by this video, triggered by me, I am a massive trigger for people who have dark entities around them. So that's fun. It's just about having boundaries with spirit, you know, the same way we need to have boundaries in our physical reality. You need to have boundaries in place with spirit as well, to ensure, you know, you're connecting with light beings. But ultimately, don't be fearful as well, you know, because we are so much more powerful than we can even know, and we're more powerful than the darkness that's out there. But just knowledge is power, and having that awareness is key.
Yo, man, wonderful souls. We are all wonderful and fearfully made. How did he know what this good vibes guy was carrying in their bag, huh? Oh, sick, this chimp can sell stuff, huh? You see? Telling the guy, oh, my friend, open your bag. What's up? What's it there you're carrying in the pocket? You see? I have a feeling you have something there which is of great interest to me. Please open the bag, my friend. After all, I'm your ancestor. You see, it is said that you came from me, some part of you. You see? And this telling, you see, I knew. My friend, I told you, I knew you have something. You see? Now open that stuff for me. Oh, woman, you were sent by God. You see? These animals are good vibes, my friends. You see? Say, guy, come and show you where you pass me this stuff. Not through the grass. You see, I know how stuff works here. I've been living here for quite some time now. And I know this stuff you can't pass me through. So go through the fence and come the other way. I shall be waiting. You see? Oh, this is a wise one. These animals are smart, my friends. You see? They're also hilarious. Full of good vibes. Yeah. Oh, it's like, oh, you see, let me come and get that stuff, my friend. I'll come and get it myself if you are not willing to come to this other side. Oh, you see? Said, oh my God, look at this one. Oh, look at this. Hey, he wants to come. He's like, up there, we can do this. Oh, we can do this. You see? If the tree can come through, why don't you pass your stuff there? You see? Oh, my friend,
That
come.
sounds completely unbelievable, but it's
This is a story I said I would never tell or talk about again, but my mom really wants me to tell it, so here we go. When I was in 5th grade, a new girl came to our school, and I didn't know her at all, but my mom and dad knew her mom and dad. They wanted me to hang out with her. Well, she was in 6th grade. She was a year older than me, and she had 2 younger sisters, and she was there 2 weeks or something like that, and they set up a slumber party sleepover thing or whatever. I get over to her house, but first let me add, okay, her house was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was a log cabin that her dad had built, and it was this 2-story lofty type cabin thing, and her parents were upstairs, but her dad had made in the girls' room built-in bunk beds in the wall, so they were 3 high, right? And the little sister was going to sleep in the floor, and I was going to sleep in the middle, right? So you had to climb the ladder on the outside of the beds and then climb into the bed, which I thought was cool. I was fine with it. But immediately when I got to the house that day, it was heavy, and it kind of felt like something was like the air was thick or something. So she kept acting weird the whole time that I was there, and she would look to the left and right and back and forth, and I'm like, what are you looking at? And she's like, oh, nothing. And then the little sister goes, she sees this woman. Ghosts weren't new to me, but I knew this didn't feel like a ghost. It felt like something else. Right? I could see this dark shadow show up and then go away, and then around the corner I saw these fingers come around the edge and then go like this, around the door frame, but they weren't regular fingers. They were these really elongated black, and the nails weren't pointy. They were longer, but they looked like they had been digging in something. They were a brown dirt. This was scary, whatever it was, right? So I'm already planning my escape. I'm already okay, I'm gonna wait till bedtime, and I'm gonna call my mom, and I'm gonna say I'm sick or something, so she has to come and get me. We were out there, like I said, in the middle of nowhere, and then her dad was like, oh man, the phones are messed up again, and he comes in for dinner, and I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean the phones are messed up? So this was 91, 92, I guess, something like that. And he's like, yeah, they get down sometimes. And I'm like, well, what if I need to go home? And he said, well, I'll take you home. It's fine. It's fine if you need to go home. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck out here, right? I'm not going to be hey, I need you to take me home, because my dad would have ripped me a new one. Y'all know that he was mean, and he would have been so mad if I would have made this guy bring me home for nothing, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to stay here. Well, that night we go to get into bed, and she has jeans on. And I'm like, why are you sleeping in jeans? And she said, because I can't feel her scratch my legs in jeans. I'm like, Phil, who? What do you mean? Who? That little sister goes, the woman, the girl that she sees, scratches her legs at night. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, what do you mean? Well, is she going to try to scratch my legs? And she said, no, because you're in the middle bunk, she only gets mine. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, right? You've got to be kidding me. Well, we play games, we do whatever, and the whole time I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to see this woman. I've already seen her hands, what am I going to do? And climb up, we go to get in bed. I'm not tired at all, not at all. And all I can think about is this woman, right? Why is my friend in jeans to keep from feeling her hands? Like, what is going to happen? And under the bottom bed, there was like a nook thing, you know, for like storage or whatever. So something could get under that. And I'm like, oh, you know, so I climb up this ladder thing. I'm getting like sweaty just talking. I'm getting like red just talking about it. That was horrible. I climb up the ladder. I get in the middle bunk. So I'm trapped. It felt like I was in a coffin or something, you know, because the bed was above me and there was a bed below me. So I'm in this box in the wall. And I'm like, I can't. I was having like a panic attack. I'm like, oh my God, I can't sleep in here. They had it total darkness, no noise, no anything but fear, right? The only thing I could hear was like my heart slamming in my chest and like my ears were like, whoa, 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 you know, I'm like, oh my God. Then I hear like the bottom bunk, like creak, you know, what's happening down there. And instead of just like not looking, like curiosity, you know, got the best of me. So I lean over, y'all, and this thing is like leaned over her. It's not in the bed with her, but it's like if it was kneeling beside her, and it's just going like dragging down her jeans. It sounded like that. You know, like dragging down jeans. So I'm looking down at this thing, hearing this, and then I look at my friend, and my friend's just like that. She goes, so I freeze, right? So this goes on for a long time. It was me still peeking over the side, like looking, and you hear like, and then she just stops, and then like retreats and sucks back under that bottom bunk. Turns out they had a Ouija board in that nook underneath the bed that she had made, a homemade Ouija board underneath the bed. Horrible, horrible. I have never been so scared in my life. Let's just say I made it through the night. First thing in the morning, I was like, I'm ready to go. Because my mom wasn't supposed to come get me till like noon. This was like 9 o'clock. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I don't feel too good. Can you just take me home? I didn't care at that point what my dad said or did. I wanted to get the hell out of that log cabin in the woods. So he takes me home. I tell my mom, and she's like, well, you don't have to go back again. I'm like, no, I'm never going back.
Okay, I'm losing my mind. Can we look at this huge circle in the sky and then look at our sun with the rainbow around it? Then there's also a circle around that. This is wild. And then there's a huge circle. I am in awe.
Did you know that scientists have proven that God's name is actually in our DNA? Watch this. Medical scientists have actually found in the nucleic acids of our DNA that there's a certain sequence that spells a certain name. This sequence contains 4 Hebrew letters that are pronounced Yod-Heh, Vah-Heh, which is the actual name of God found in every human DNA. This is the thumbprint of God that proves that He created you and He created me. If you believe that God is the creator of mankind, then subscribe or follow now.
Do titans and giant sea creatures of unbelievable size and strength really do exist? And the stories of sailors throughout different parts of history all the way up to now, that they have seen monstrous creatures. Is it true, or is it just misidentification? Now, take for example this creature here. Is it some type of a whale, or is it some type of unknown, prehistoric, or unknown creature we have never seen before? Because science does discover new species every day. Now, could there be something out there of immense size that just knows how to stay hidden very well and has gone undetected? Because I do believe that that could be a great possibility. Now, I'm not saying any of these videos are real or hold a certain possibility. My videos are for entertainment purposes only, and take everything I show and say with a grain of salt. But it does not mean we know everything of what exists on this world.
Demons don't want your soul. I know that's hard to explain considering I myself have made pacts with demons. You can see a couple of them stacked right over there, but that does not mean that I sold my soul. A contract or a pact with a demon is a promise about the work that you're going to put in, the work that you're going to put in to achieve what it is you seek. And yes, they will absolutely offer a divine hand, whether that's advice or action on your behalf, or both, or some measure of neither. However they do it, however you choose to work with them. But they are not exchanging in a transaction your soul for what you're asking for. And usually what we're asking for is not what we think we're asking for. A lot of the time people are like, I would do anything to go back in time and change this moment, or to change how I act or look or feel, or I just want to be a different person altogether. I want to be in a totally different situation. Well, okay, demons will help you with that. But what that really actually looks like is you releasing the guilt and the shame that you feel for yourself based on your actions, for finding forgiveness in yourself and others. It's the work. When we are clinging so hard to what we think is the answer to our happiness, we are often, if not always, overlooking the true answers to what would move us forward and what would achieve us the goals that we're asking for. It doesn't always look like the way that we want it to look or the way that we imagine it looking. And that misnomer in contracts with deities is probably the biggest stopping point that most people go through. In my opinion, if we all made contracts with our deities, if we all felt like we were accountable to what we wanted to do to our deities, we would probably perform way better than trying to hold ourselves accountable alone. So no, you're not selling your soul when you're making a pact with a demon. You can't sell your soul. That is something that's impossible to confer in ownership to another, at least in our format. And when people say things like, I have sold my soul, often what they mean is, I have declared myself no longer of myself and under the ownership and management of something or someone else. Is that a problem? Maybe, maybe not. In some ways, I could describe some of my relationships in a similar way, but it is out of my will, not out of the will of another, right? When you say I'm selling my soul, you are giving up your will. And that's if not like the essential nature of giving up on your soul's purpose, on your life's purpose, it's also an extremely easy way to get out of accountability and liability for your own actions. So keep your will intact. Stay accountable for what you do and say, because regardless of whether you believe you're living for something else or not, you are still responsible for those things. You are still the creator of those things. And know that your will is what makes your success in magic happen. If you think that you are giving up your will, you are giving up your ability to make the things that you want to happen able to happen. All magic, no matter what kind or style, all of it works on intent, right? There is no magic without will. So if you want magic, if you want a deity pact or a pact that's going to be successful, you won't be seeking to give up your will. You won't be seeking to give up your ability to create that for yourself. And you won't be seeking to offload your accountability. But again, it starts with releasing guilt and shame, because oftentimes that's where our desperation comes from. Can't sell your soul. Sorry.
Oh man, wonderful source. All those videos sounds really interesting, man. You see, myself, I understand that we are all made in the image and likeness of God, you see? And if there is this thing called the soul, it was given to us by God, you see? And now how can you sell stuff that does not belong to you, you see? It's like selling a place where you rent, my friends. Is that possible? In your country, can you sell a place where you are renting? I don't know. You leave some comments there and tell us. Even on those videos that has passed, you see, hit the like button and be good from wherever you are. You see, you're wonderful. Thank you to all those guys in the comment section. May God bless you abundantly and bring you joy in your lives. You see, even to the new guys that have clicked for the first time, kindly welcome and you are loved. Peace and love be with you. Till next time, man. I am Y311H. Bye bye.